All right, folks, good morning. Let's go ahead and get started. Firstly, let's talk about the economic data for today. So for June the 27th, we have the following. We have at 9 a.m., we'll have HPI month over month. Then at also at 9 a.m., we'll have S&P/CS Composite 20 HPI year over year. Neither one of these reports are expected to have any major impact, so I'm not thinking about them that much. 10 o'clock Eastern, we've got CB Consumer Confidence, new home sales, and the Richmond Manufacturing Index. All three of those will have or should have significant impact on the market, so we'll expect some movement from those. Okay? Those will be at 10 o'clock Eastern. All right, now, as far as what was moving yesterday, let's take a quick look here. All right, so clearly the NASDAQ was moving lower yesterday. At first, it went up. Pretty nice move up at first. In fact, it did look like we were going to stay positive on the day. But after the first hour and a half, well, I'll say first half hour, things changed pretty quickly. And then we went negative for the rest of the day. So most stocks that you would have seen yesterday will have reversed off of their highs. So I'm just going to go down the list of things that were moving, but remember, a lot of these will have reverse direction. So first up, we've got, let's see, Array Biosciences. At the beginning of the day, Array was moving up pretty well, and then it sold off back to the opening price of that day. Then we had INTC, which was moving strongly. It almost hit, it got within about 2/3 of the distance to target number 2, which was 34.17. Topped out at 33.99, and then sold off back to that day's open. So notice again, stock went up strongly, then came back to the opening price of that day. Mara, on the other hand, was on its way to target number 1 of 13.18, but then turned around quickly, sold below the low, sold below the opening of the day, and then went down to reach target number 1 to the downside of 11.92. It also went down over 10% at one point and got close to target number 2 to the downside, which was 11.29, but Mara ultimately bottomed out at 11.42. All right, Coinbase was able to reach target number 2 of 65.57 and top out at 66.16. Then it turned around and came back pretty much to the opening price of the day. And this is a theme you're going to see a lot from yesterday, that a lot of stocks that had really good moves up then turned around and came back to their opening price of the day. So they didn't really go under that price, but the stocks had the really good moves, they tended to turn around and come back to their opening price. So they were basically unchanged from the opening bell. Similar fate for PACW. It was not able to reach target number 1 to the upside. It topped out at 8.05, where target number 1 is actually at 8.10. Then it sold off, in this case under the opening price, but it wasn't able to reach any targets. Okay. Now, Amazon is one of the stocks that really moved. It was able to reach target number 1 on the top, 131.01, topped out at 131.49. Then it sold off through the opening price of the day, down to target number 1 to the downside of 127.65. Then we have Marvel, MRVL, which was able to reach target number 1 to the upside of 59.04, reached a high of 59.14, then turned around and went back to the opening price. Next up, we've got Riot, which was able to reach target number 1 to the upside of 11.99, reaching a high of $12.18 before turning around and selling off to $10.99, which was target number one to the downside. And just like Amazon was able to hit targets on both sides, Tesla also was able to do the same thing. It hit target number one to the upside, 256.66, reaching a high of 257.37 before turning around and selling off down to target number one to the downside, which was 243.47. Apple never really got anywhere. Apple did not hit target number one to the upside. It topped out at 188.05. Target number one to the upside was 188.35, so it fell short of that. And then at the very end of the day, it hit target number one to the downside of 185.31. Then lastly, we got Lucid. Now this one had the biggest, I will say, range of movement. It was able to reach target number one to the upside of 622. It topped out at 628. Then it turned around, sold off all the way down to target number two to the downside of 560. So pretty big reversal there. So the stronger stocks, they were able to go up and then come back down to the opening price, where the weaker stocks went up and then they sold off down to usually targets number one to the downside, but some even to target number two. All right, so that was what we saw yesterday. Yesterday was definitely not a good day to trade. I did mention that early in the session for those in the coaching room that this is one of those days where it's probably a good idea to sit on your hands and wait and see if anything really good comes up. These reversals, while they may look attractive now, in the context of what was happening that day, wouldn't be that easy to recognize that perhaps it's going to keep going down. So either way, wasn't the best day to trade, but obviously we went through it either way and made the best out of it. So let's take a look at what's moving here pre-market. All right, I got a few stocks here, so let's take a look at them one by one. All right, the big one is BDTX. This stock is flying. Okay, went from $1.80, right now it's at $4.15 a share. So we'll definitely add this to our pre-market, and of course, since it's moving right now in the pre-market, it does present a potential opportunity. Currently up 124% on 15.9 million shares. So this one looks like it will be a mover one way or the other. Next up, we've got ACIU, which is currently up 11%, 4 million shares, not nearly as active as our last stock, but also showing some potential. So we'll add that to our pre-market radar as well. ACIU. Okay. Nothing happening here with. I'll skip Tesla since it doesn't look like it's doing anything unusual. Okay, we have a really big drop in Lordstown Motors. RIDE is its symbol. The stock is down 58% on 1.3 million shares. My guess is that they probably have some news about their production. Yeah, so Lordstown filed for bankruptcy. Yeah. Yep, so they went into bankruptcy. That doesn't mean that they're dead, but obviously bankruptcy has a massive impact on the stock price for good reason, because in the event that they do not emerge out of bankruptcy, or there's some decision that they need to go private or something like that, then shareholders are screwed. So that's where that stands. And then we have, looks like Lucid is a little active. I'm not sure if it's up enough. No, it's not. So Lucid's trading good volume, but it's only up 3.78%. I'll put that down as a potential trade to look at right before the opening bell, to see if maybe the activity's picked up. Lucid's already on our regular list anyway, so we won't miss it if anything happens. Okay, so that's all I have right now. BDTX, the biggest mover, ACIU, and RIDE, Lordstown Motors, which is down big time. If you folks see any other NASDAQ stocks right now that are currently doing the following: number one, they have to be trading at least $1 per share right now. Number two, when you look at the pre-market volume, okay, the pre-market volume only, not what happened yesterday, not what happened 2 days ago, not the average daily volume, but how many shares are trading right now. If you look at that, if the number is 1 million or higher, that checks. If you look at the percentage change, it has to be a 6% change positive or greater, or a 6% change negative or lower. Okay. And of course, it will be a NASDAQ stock. So any stocks that meet those criteria. Okay. Scott says WBA. Let's take a look. Okay, that does qualify. It's down over 6%. Good job. And it is trading over 2 million shares. Check. And it's trading over $1. Check. So that checks out. So we'll add that to our radar. WBA. Meds. Okay, Meds does not qualify because it only has 153,000 shares that have traded pre-market. So that is a no. All right. Any other stocks, folks, that meet the 4 criteria, trade at least $1 per share or more, at least 1 million shares in the pre-market session or greater. Also, we need it, of course, to be a NASDAQ stock and a percentage change of 6% positive or greater, or 6% negative or lower. Yep, no problem. All right, folks, anything else? Any other stocks that meet those criteria? Let me know in the chat. We'll go ahead and take a look. All right, folks, we'll call it a day. All right, so please be sure to like this video and, of course, subscribe to our channel. We have a rapidly growing subscriber list, so definitely would love to see more people subscribe. So be sure to share this with your friends, family, anyone you know who might be interested in stocks. Also, if you're not familiar with us, but maybe you're checking out this broadcast, be sure to check out our website, fundertrading.com, to learn more about how we fund traders to trade stocks. You'll see a link in our description. And then for those of you who are part of the program, I'll see you in the coaching room in about 15 minutes. Okay? All right, folks, have a good one, and we'll see you all tomorrow. Take care.